People can't commit to a show if it has nothing to offer, especially if it has more than a few seasons. But with 19 seasons under its belt, NCIS has become a police drama that we can't get enough of. So today we're looking at some of the most controversial moments from the show that had us reeling from what had just happened. First, we have Eli and Jackie's death, Season 10, Episode 11. There's no doubt that the NCIS team has always put themselves in the path of danger, but there have always been a handful of times that their bravery came back in the form of vengeance to hurt those they loved. One of those times came in the Season 10 episode, Shabbat Shalom. In this episode, Ziva and her father Eli were having dinner with Leon Vance and his wife Jackie. While having dinner, Ziva gets up and leaves the house to call Gibbs, and mid-conversation, completely out of the blue, someone opened fires on the house, killing both Eli and Leon's wife Jackie. For fans of the show, unexpected deaths are something to, well, expect. But even so, this moment caught us off guard and the brutality left us reeling. What made it even more brutal was when we found out that the murder was ordered by Elin Bodnar, Eli's deputy director. We didn't see that one coming either. Next, the team splits up. Season 5, Episode 19. Season 5 offered two major shocking moments to finish off the season. First, NCIS director Jenny Shepard died in a massive shootout. If that wasn't difficult enough, the team then had to figure out what happened under new director Leon Vance. Gibbs came to the conclusion that it was a former assassin that Jenny tried to kill 9 years ago. Gibbs killed the assassin's lover, so she returned for revenge. Gibbs and Franks ended up killing the assassin and then proceeded to burn down Jenny's house to cover up her death. Smart move, but it had consequences. To the audience's and our shock, director Vance responded to this act of defiance by ordering the team to break up and disband in the season finale, sending shockwaves across the fandom. He sent Ziva back to Israel, moved McGee to cybercrimes, and assigned Tony to the USS Ronald Reagan before giving Gibbs a new team to lead. We didn't have a problem with a new team, of course. Gibbs, being the disciplined veteran he was, would bring them up to shape in no time. That was his specialty. But we still miss Ziva, McGee, and Tony. Up next, Abby learns Gibbs is a murderer. Season 7, Episode 22. It wasn't shocking to fans that Gibbs murdered Pedro Hernandez, the man who killed his wife and daughter from a sniper position. Hey, we understand vengeance, and the show revealed this back in Season 3. But no one in the world of the show knew this, and if they did, they didn't say anything about it. In Season 7, however, that changed. Abby was investigating a cold case, and during the investigation, the truth revealed itself, and she found out that Gibbs murdered Pedro Hernandez. To fans, it seemed like the beginning of an end, because it looked like this twist was going to lead to Gibbs finally facing his crimes. However, in the fans' relief, Abby chose not to tell anyone, not even the team members, and Gibbs' secret remained safe, outside of a select few, including Vance. Next, Abby gets shot and leaves. Season 15, Episode 21 and 22. Fans knew this was coming. There was a buildup that Abby was going to eventually leave NCIS, but the way it happened was extremely controversial to fans. Abby was with Reeves in the episode One Step Forward, after they solved a case and helped a homeless vet. However, when they left together, a mugger approached them. Now, this is a warning sign of its own on TV shows of something terrible about to happen. Reeves gave his money to the mugger, and when Abby offered to help him, the mugger pulled the trigger. The fans lost it, including us. Fans knew to expect the unexpected, but this still shook us. Reeves died, shocking every fan who was glued to the screen at the time. Abby ended up in the hospital, and fans felt relieved. It turned out that the mugger was hired to kill her by a man that Abby put away years ago. I wasn't expecting that, said a fan of the show. But as soon as I realized it was him that died and not Abby, I knew right away how Abby was going to exit. Clayton was just beginning to grow on me, and we feel the same way. By the end, Abby chose to leave NCIS for London to help start and run a charity that Reeves always wanted to open. Now we have Caitlin Todd dies, Season 2, Episode 23. The first moment on NCIS where one of the main cast members died was the most shocking, with fans reeling in the aftermath. Not only did a major character die, but it was a massively distressing scene as Caitlin was shot in the center of the forehead. This ensured that the show could not miraculously save her in the next season or bring her back in some way. Later we find out that it was Ari who shot and killed Caitlin, and he remained on the loose until until his own sister Ziva showed up and killed him to save Gibbs's life. But with Caitlin, a major character, murdered violently, NCIS proved that anything could happen to your favorite character and that no one was safe, not even Gibbs. Next, when Gibbs gets shot, Season 12, Episode 24. There's no denying that Gibbs was a badass. He was an experienced veteran who dodged a lot of bullets in his life, but things didn't go quite his way in the Season 12 finale. The team was in Iraq, and Gibbs had become separated from them. While trying to locate his team, he found a suspicious girl and followed her. That is when Daniel Budd, the leader of The Calling, phoned DiNozzo. However, one of the young boys that The Calling recruited to serve as a member walked out and shot Gibbs twice, ending the season. The fans went wild. If the show hadn't proven that no one has plot armor, it had done it now. A cliffhanger like that put everyone on the edge, and people speculated whether Mark Harmon would leave the show. It was a grueling wait until the next season, but fans rejoiced when they saw Gibbs appear on screen again. In Season 13, beginning with Gibbs fighting for his life and dreaming of the past moments and traumas over the years, Gibbs was drastically changed when he returned. A gunshot or two would do that to you, so we understand. Up next, Gibbs looks at his own grave. Episode 1, Season 19. We left the best for last, and ending this list with the most popular character seems very fitting, although the news might not be. Fans were sent into a frenzy of speculation and worry when Season 19 of NCIS premiered in the fall of 2021. Fans were put on high alert when a certain scene foreshadowed a possible event that may affect Gibbs in a permanent sort of way. During the episode, Gibbs, Torres, McGee, and Knight figured out that Sinova hired Lemur to kill 4 people who were preventing them from building a copper mine in Alaska. After putting the pieces together, Gibbs told McGee to pack his bags because the 2 of them were heading to that state. But first, Gibbs had to do something. Although he stopped short of getting into specifics, fans saw him standing at Shannon and Kelly's graves, where there is now a plot reserved for him. And with that, the screen cut to black, and fans at home immediately took to Twitter to share what they thought the scene meant. Him visiting Shannon and Kelly with his name on the tombstone, what's that supposed to mean? Is that foreshadowing? Don't kill Gibbs, I beg y'all, one person wrote. And we certainly share the same sentiment. For fans, Gibbs is as much a part of NCIS as Jake Peralta is to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Things just sort of fall apart without them, and Gibbs would certainly be a hard act to follow considering how brilliant his run on the show has been. We take it year by year with Mark. CBS Entertainment chief Kelly Call told Deadline in May, "We'd love to have him as long as he'd like to be here. We're happy to work around his schedule." If that isn't ominous, we don't know what is. One fan of the show even went so far as to say, and we quote, "If it ain't Mark as Gibbs, then it's no one else. I'm probably gonna stop watching the show because I don't know if it's really worth it anymore." Now only time will tell what will eventually happen to Gibbs, but we certainly hope he never has to totally leave. And if he does, he goes out in a way that is remembered forever. Most weekly procedural shows are predictable, and we can easily figure out the ending because their favorite characters either don't die or they just keep coming back. Even when a villain is pushing the heroes to their limit, it's always the good guys who win in the end. It's a pretty cut and dry theme that's always worked. While NCIS 2 always ends with the good guys winning, it's different from other procedural shows because the good guys on NCIS don't always survive. Much like Game of Thrones, your favorite character's last moments on screen might just be an episode away. There have been shocking deaths. There have been shocking reveals. There have been beloved characters that died or left the team completely. Anything can happen on NCIS. And that's all for this video. We'll see you in the next one.